Hi, Dustin. This is Taylor Wilkerson. I want to thank you for offering to include me in your blog and offering to do this interview. I appreciate it and look forward to it. So first I want to give a little background about myself. As I said, my name is Taylor Wilkerson. I'm Program Manager at the Supply Chain Management Group with LMI. LMI is a 50-year-old strategic consulting firm focused on serving public sector and commercial clients. I've been with LMI in our supply chain group for about 12 years. My expertise includes supply chain strategy, sustainability, and risk management. I'm an active member of CSCMP, the Supply Chain Council, and also co-chair of the Supply Chain Risk Leadership Council. I'm also an adjunct professor and senior fellow with the Robert H. Smith School of Business at the University of Maryland. Prior to joining LMI, I was environmental and air quality engineer. I did that for about 6 years. So I've got a background in sustainability as well as a focus on supply chain management. So I'd like to talk a little bit about using risk management and risk-based approaches to help companies manage sustainability. A lot of organizations have trouble justifying sustainability programs, in a large part because sustainability is often viewed as doing better things for the environment and society, which is difficult to put into business terms. And while there is some clear value in reducing energy use, improving brand image, and things like that, many sustainability efforts don't have a very clear business value proposition. However, many sustainability issues can not only tarnish a brand, they can interrupt the flow of goods through the supply chain, leading to real revenue and profit losses. So you can take a few examples of that. First one is in 2007, Mattel had to recall almost 1 million toys that were contaminated by lead paint, and this contamination came from a third-tier supplier in their supply chain. Another good example is the factory collapse in Bangladesh earlier this year, where both Primark and Loblaw and others were contracting production of low-cost apparel, where that was not only an interruption of the product flow due to the disaster, but also was a blemish on their brand names to be found to be producing their products in such unsafe working conditions. Another example is from 2008, where Coca-Cola came under criticism for their water use at an Indian facility located in a water-scarce region, which led them to rethink the way they were producing their product in that region and implement significant water use improvements. And finally, in 2001, Sony had a disruption getting their PlayStations into the Netherlands when Dutch officials confiscated over $160 million worth of PlayStations and accessories due to high cadmium content in wiring and cables within the product itself. Again, an example where a second or third tier supplier provided a non-compliant product that violated environmental standards and impacted the supply chain. These examples illustrate a wide range of sustainability incidents, but they have the one thing in common, and that is the root cause is a sustainability issues. And risk management is based on an approach of taking steps to understand your supply chain and where you have risk exposure, taking actions to assess the nature of the risk and to mitigate or treat it, and monitoring potential sources of risk for early detection and treatment of the events. So by using a risk-based approach, companies can understand where sustainability can become a business issue, as shown by the examples above. This can lead to a better discussion of not only how to protect the company, but also where the return on investment is for sustainability actions. So it takes it out of the realm of we're doing good for the world and into the realm of here are actions we can take that not only help us be a more sustainable company, but protect our business from disruption. Now, one additional benefit is that both risk management and sustainability have some similarities in that they're both based on improving the visibility of the supply chain, understanding where products are made, how they are made, where you have either sustainability exposure or risk exposure. And by gaining visibility, what a lot of companies have found is they can also understand where there are opportunities to improve efficiency and quality for better business performance just by getting a better understanding of what happens within their supply chain. So it really is a very valuable method. And there's sort of one final issue is, as we look at a changing climate and the impacts of climate change, it's important to recognize that they represent a new set of risks for supply chains. Now, one of the interesting things about climate change, and one of the things that actually produces many of the arguments, is the significant amount of uncertainty around what the actual impacts of climate change will be and what regions they will affect. But a risk-based approach will help companies prepare and monitor our changing climate to minimize the potential that a supply chain will be disrupted by climate change, by viewing them as a potential risk and viewing it that way and how they could disrupt the business versus just saying we want to be aware of them from a sustainability standpoint. So there's a lot of value even going forward looking at new sustainability issues and how they can present a risk to the supply chain. One other area where risk management is a valuable approach is in dealing with slow-moving or highly variable inventory. So just about every company has inventory with highly variable or sporadic demand patterns. These are the items that don't fit to a nice, clean statistical forecast. So the problem with this inventory is that it is impossible to forecast using traditional statistical methods because there's simply not sufficient data to produce a reliable forecast. So using a risk-based approach recognizes that statistics are ineffective in this case, and a risk-based approach looks at the historic patterns of demand for these products to evaluate where you run the risk of being out of stock or being unable to serve a customer at the level you want to. With that information, you can then start making decisions about how to trade off your investment in inventory against the level of service you want to provide to your customers. At LMI, we recently developed an inventory optimization tool called PNG that uses this approach, and actually it was a finalist in the CSCMP Innovation Award for this year. And PNG uses a risk-based analysis together with a simulation engine to evaluate historical demand and recommend inventory levels based on the trade-off between investment and customer service. So rather than using a statistical projection, it uses this simulation to look at what level do you start running a risk of not being able to serve your customers with a fast enough response. And we've implemented this tool with clients, and what our clients have seen is just using that risk-based approach and getting rid of the statistical forecast, they see a significant increase in their customer service levels while at the same time reducing their inventory investment. So just by taking this different approach and recognizing that it's impossible to forecast these parts and that statistical methods don't work, there's an advantage just in using this different approach. And as you go forward, there's the ability to continually improve the way you serve customers at a lower investment level. So when we talk about why companies should take risk-based approaches to solving these problems, in both these cases, a company is dealing with exceptions to their supply chain operations. Whether it's non-compliant supplier, an unforeseen sustainability event, or an unforecastable spike in demand, these are things that go outside of the normal operations or normal expected responses within the supply chain. And since they are exceptions, they cannot be solved through traditional supply chain methods based on data analysis or process improvement. You can't predict these based on historical trends, and you can't change your processes to eliminate these. They require an approach that is designed to manage operational exceptions, and that is a risk management approach. And this change in perception leads to a better process for managing sustainability and the slow or highly variable inventory, while at the same time putting the results from these in terms understood by the business. So in other words, you're taking a different perception on what sustainability or what slow-moving or highly variable inventory means to the business. It is no longer something that's just difficult to manage. It's now a risk where you need to mitigate or protect yourself against the potential disruptions they can cause. And by doing that, you take it out of somebody trying to manage the unmanageable and into the realm of how do we protect our business? How do we protect our supply chain? How do we protect our brand? How do we protect our operations and our customers from these disruptions? So it's a very valuable approach and a very useful approach to some very unique problems that we face in the supply chain. So again, Dustin, I want to thank you again for the opportunity to talk with you about these. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to talk further. But again, thank you very much for including me, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.